There is a force that moves through all things, shaping reality itself. The ancients knew it. This audiobook unlocks the secret they left behind, showing you how to step into your true power. The moment you align, life stops being a battle and becomes effortless creation. The Power Alignment. Introduction. In the depths of your being lies a force so vast, so potent, that its mere recognition begins to shift the fabric of reality around you. This force has existed since the dawn of time, waiting patiently for you to awaken to its presence. It moves through all things, shapes all circumstances, and determines the very flow of existence itself. The ancients understood this truth. They spoke of it in whispers, carved it into stone, and passed it through generations in sacred texts. Today, this wisdom emerges once more, not as something new, but as something remembered, a knowing that has always existed within you. You have been taught to push against life, to struggle and strive, believing that effort alone creates results. Yet the universe operates on a higher principle: alignment. When you align with the universal force, life ceases to be a battle and becomes a dance of synchronicity. Doors open not because you break them down, but because you have become one with the current that moves all things. This alignment is not passive. It is the most powerful form of action possible. It is the difference between rowing against the tide and harnessing the force of the entire ocean. The universe responds not to your actions, but to your energetic signature, your inner state of being. What you are about to discover is not information, but transformation. These are not mere words on a page, but keys to unlocking the cosmic force that has always resided within you. As you turn each page, you will remember what your soul has always known, that you are not separate from the power that creates worlds. The time of seeking ends now. The age of remembering begins. You stand at the threshold of power, not power as the world defines it, but power as the universe expresses it. The force that guides your life awaits your conscious recognition and alignment. This is your awakening. This is your inheritance. This is your truth. Part 1. The Hidden Path to Power, Awakening to the Great Alignment. Chapter 1. The Lost Key to Power. In a small village where time seemed to stand still, lived Eleanor, once known for her grand estate and prosperous trading ventures. Through a series of misfortunes, a devastating fire, betrayal by trusted allies, and a market collapse, she lost everything she had built over decades. Her name, once spoken with reverence in merchant circles, became a whisper of caution. One evening, as Eleanor sat in her modest rented room, an ancient manuscript fell from a loose floorboard. Its yellowed chapters contained writings that would transform her understanding of existence. The text spoke of a universal force that flowed like a mighty river, carrying all of creation in its current. Those who fought against it exhausted themselves, while those who aligned with it were carried effortlessly to their destiny. Eleanor began to observe this truth in action. She noticed how her neighbors, Thomas and Mary, seemed to attract opportunity without strain, while others toiled endlessly with little reward. The difference wasn't in their actions, but in their alignment. Thomas and Mary moved through life with an inner certainty, a peaceful acceptance that allowed the universe to work through them rather than against them. In the quiet hours of studying this manuscript, Eleanor discovered that manifestation was not about forcing reality to bend to her will, but about aligning her energy with the natural flow of creation. She learned to release her grip on how things should be, and in doing so, found that life began responding in unexpected ways. Within months, new opportunities emerged, not in the form she had once known, but in ways far more aligned with her true nature. In another part of the world lived Walter, an inventor whose greatest breakthroughs came not from his relentless efforts, but from moments of surrender. For years, he had struggled to perfect his revolutionary design, working until his hands shook with exhaustion. It was only when he stepped away, releasing his iron grip on the outcome, that the solution appeared in a moment of clarity while watching leaves dance in the wind. To experience this alignment yourself, practice this ancient ritual. Stand in a quiet space and extend your arms before you. Make tight fists and push against the air, tensing every muscle. Feel the resistance, the strain, the blocking of energy. Now slowly release your fists, letting your arms float weightlessly. Notice how the air moves around your open palms, how energy flows freely through your being. This is the difference between forcing and allowing, between struggling and aligning. Carry this bodily wisdom with you, letting it remind you of the natural state of flow that awaits when you align with the universal force. Chapter 2. The Cosmic Code. Throughout the ages, mystics and sages have whispered of invisible forces that shape the fabric of existence. Now you stand at the threshold of understanding these universal laws that have guided all of creation since time immemorial. In the hallowed halls of Cambridge University, Leonard devoted 30 years to uncovering the mathematical equation that would explain all of reality. His blackboard stretched across entire walls, filled with complex formulas and theoretical physics. Yet the answer he sought eluded him, until one fateful morning when he witnessed a sunrise that changed everything. As the first light touched the morning dew, Leonard experienced a moment of pure clarity. The universe wasn't operating on numbers alone. It was responding to consciousness itself. The laws he had been seeking weren't written in chalk, but encoded in the very essence of being. You see, the law of vibration reveals that everything in existence oscillates at specific frequencies. Your thoughts, emotions, and beliefs create vibrations that ripple through the cosmic fabric. When you understand this, you begin to notice how your internal state shapes your external reality. The law of correspondence teaches that what exists above mirrors what exists below. Your outer world reflects your inner world with perfect precision. These aren't mere theories or philosophical musings. They are as real and absolute as gravity, operating whether you acknowledge them or not. Those who drift through life unaware of these principles find themselves at the mercy of circumstances like leaves blown by winds they cannot see. But you, as you embrace this ancient wisdom, step into the role of conscious creator. Consider Margaret, who painted in a small studio in Venice. For years, she struggled to gain recognition, her brilliant work hidden from the world. Then, without knowing these laws by name, she began to shift her inner world. Instead of painting from a place of desperate need for success, she created from pure joy and inner alignment. Her vibration transformed, and the universe responded. A renowned collector happened to walk past her studio, drawn by an inexplicable force. Her art now hangs in galleries across Europe, not because she mastered technique, but because she unknowingly aligned with universal law. To attune yourself to these cosmic principles, practice this timeless exercise. Sit in perfect stillness and observe your breath. As you breathe, imagine each inhale drawing in pure, golden light. With each exhale, feel your vibration rising higher. Now bring to mind something you desire. Rather than focusing on its absence, feel the frequency of already having it. Let this vibration permeate every cell of your being. This is how you begin to consciously work with the laws that govern all of creation. Chapter 3. Energy is everything. In the quiet streets of an ancient town, Gerald walked past fortune tellers and mystics each day, scoffing at their claims of unseen energies. As a successful banker, he trusted only in numbers, contracts, and the tangible world of finance. Yet one autumn morning, everything he understood about reality transformed. You see, the universe operates through vibration, a truth as old as existence itself. Your thoughts, feelings, and beliefs create an energetic signature that draws matching experiences into your life. This is not metaphor or wishful thinking, but the very mechanism by which reality manifests. Gerald's transformation began when he lost everything in a market crash. In that moment of surrender, something shifted within him. Instead of dwelling in fear and resentment, he felt an inexplicable peace wash over him. Without realizing it, he had altered his vibrational frequency. Within days, opportunities appeared as if by magic. A chance encounter led to a partnership that would restore his fortune tenfold. He hadn't changed his actions. He had changed his energy. Your life mirrors this principle. Every thought you hold emits a signal into the universe. Your emotions act as amplifiers, broadcasting your inner state into the field of infinite possibility. When you understand this, you realize that action without aligned energy is like sailing against the wind. Dorothy learned this truth through different circumstances. After losing her beloved husband, she spent years shrouded in grief's heavy vibration. Her world grew smaller, darker, matching her inner state. Then one morning, gazing at old photographs, gratitude for the love they had shared replaced her sorrow. This subtle shift in energy created ripples through her reality. Neighbors began appearing with invitations. A community garden flourished under her care. A publisher discovered her private writings about love and loss. Her external world transformed not through effort or planning, but through vibrational alignment. To calibrate your own frequency, practice this ancient technique that has guided seekers through the ages. Stand in stillness with your palms facing upward, as though ready to receive wisdom from the universe. Close your eyes and feel the energy flowing through your body like a gentle river of light. Notice where it feels light and expansive, and where it feels dense or contracted. These sensations are your inner compass, showing you the truth of your current vibration. Now recall a moment of pure joy, perhaps a time of profound connection, achievement, or peace. Let this feeling fill every cell until your entire being resonates with this elevated state. This is your natural high-frequency state, your birthright of abundance and clarity. Next, bring to mind a current challenge in your life. Notice how your energy shifts, how your body responds to this lower vibration. Then, consciously return to the joy state and observe how different decisions and possibilities emerge from this elevated perspective. Solutions that were hidden in the dense energy of worry become clear in the light of your higher frequency. Your fate isn't sealed by circumstances, but by the frequency you choose to hold. Like a radio tuning to different stations, you have the power to select the vibration that shapes your reality. This is the ancient wisdom that transforms mere existence into conscious creation. Chapter 4: The Awakening. In the heart of a bustling city lived Harrison, a man who saw shadows in every sunbeam. Each morning, he would wake to catalog his misfortunes, certain that fate had marked him for hardship. His business faltered, his relationships crumbled, and his dreams remained distant mirages on an endless horizon. You hold within you the same power that transformed Harrison's life. The moment of revelation came not through external change, but through an inner awakening that altered everything. As you read these words, know that your reality is not happening to you, it is responding to you. The universe operates as a mirror, reflecting back the essence of your deepest beliefs. When Harrison finally understood this truth, he realized that life had never been against him. It had simply been matching his expectations with perfect precision. His breakthrough came not from changing his circumstances, but from shifting his perception. This wisdom echoes through the ages. Your perception creates your reality. It is not what happens to you that shapes your life, but how you perceive what happens. This is the hidden mechanism behind every transformation, every miracle, and every breakthrough. Louise discovered this truth through a different path. For years, she viewed her small apartment as a symbol of limitation. Then one evening, as the sun painted her walls in golden light, she chose to see it differently. She began to perceive her home as a sanctuary of possibility rather than a prison of circumstance. This single shift in perception rippled through her entire existence. Without changing anything external, Louise's world transformed. Her neighbors, once strangers, became friends. Her modest balcony garden flourished into a community gathering spot. Opportunities she had never noticed before suddenly appeared, as if they had been waiting for her to simply see them. To access this transformative power, practice this ancient meditation. Sit in stillness and observe your surroundings. Notice how your current perceptions color everything you see. Now imagine viewing your life through the eyes of your highest self. See your challenges as opportunities for growth. View your limitations as boundaries asking to be transcended. Feel how this shift in perception already begins to alter your energy. Let your breath guide you into this new awareness. With each inhale, draw in the understanding that reality is fluid, responsive to your inner state. With each exhale, release the old perceptions that have kept you bound to limited experiences. Feel how your entire being aligns with this new way of seeing. This is not mere positive thinking. It is the activation of an ancient power that has always resided within you. As you embrace this new perception, watch how the universe responds, rearranging itself to match your elevated awareness. Chapter 5: The 3 Hidden Blocks That Keep You Powerless. In the heart of a thriving metropolis, Raymond stood atop his gleaming office tower, surrounded by the emblems of success, yet haunted by an inner void. You might recognize yourself in his story, accomplished in the eyes of the world, yet sensing that something essential remains just out of reach. The universe operates through precise laws, and the most crucial among them is this: your outer world must align with your inner truth. Raymond had mastered strategy, innovation, and leadership. But beneath these achievements lurked 3 shadow forces that prevented his complete alignment with abundance. The first force, subconscious doubt, whispers beneath your conscious thoughts, undermining your creative power. Like Raymond, you may affirm success while carrying the weight of old beliefs that speak of unworthiness. These hidden doubts act as invisible anchors, holding you back even as you strive to move forward. The second force, emotional resistance, manifests as subtle tension in your body, a tightness that betrays your mind's declarations of readiness. When Raymond spoke of expansion, his energy contracted. This contradiction created a frequency that repelled the very opportunities he sought to attract. The third force, energetic contradiction, occurs when your words and actions misalign with your deepest feelings. You cannot deceive the universe. It responds not to what you say, but to the energy you emanate. Edith's story illuminates the path to freedom. For years, she carried the weight of childhood disappointment, each setback reinforcing her belief in her own limitations. Then one morning, while watching the sunrise, she experienced a moment of clarity. The pain of her past was not a prison sentence, but a pattern waiting to be released. In that moment of recognition, Edith understood that her trauma had become a lens through which she viewed all possibilities. By acknowledging this truth without judgment, she began to dissolve the energetic blocks that had shaped her reality, to uncover and release your own hidden resistance. Practice this ancient technique of self-inquiry. Sit in complete stillness, breathing deeply. Ask yourself, what am I afraid might happen if I succeed completely? Allow each answer to surface without analysis. Notice where in your body you feel resistance as these thoughts arise. Breathe into these areas, imagining golden light dissolving the tension. Continue this practice, asking, what old story am I ready to release? Feel how each revelation creates space for new energy to flow. As resistance dissolves, your natural state of alignment emerges, allowing the universe to respond with increasing abundance. Let each breath carry away the weight of past limitations, knowing that you are creating sacred space for divine wisdom to enter. Trust that as you release these old narratives, you open channels through which universal abundance naturally flows. The very act of letting go becomes a powerful affirmation of your readiness to receive all that awaits you in the infinite field of possibility. Chapter 6: The Forgotten Teachings. In the dusty archives of an ancient library, Alfred brushed away centuries of neglect from a weathered manuscript. You too stand at the threshold of rediscovering what the ancients knew. That manifestation is not a modern invention, but a timeless truth encoded in the very fabric of existence. The principles you encounter in these chapters were once guarded by mystery schools and passed down through generations of initiates. They understood what science now confirms, that consciousness shapes reality, that energy follows intention, and that the universe responds to the frequency of your being. These ancient masters left clues in their writings, symbols, and teachings. They spoke of the divine reflection, where outer circumstances mirror inner states. They taught that alignment was not about forcing change, but about becoming a clear vessel through which universal power could flow. You live in an age of technological marvels, yet the fundamental laws of manifestation remain unchanged. The ancient Egyptians called it Heka, the activation of the soul's creative force. The yogis named it Sankalpa, the power of focused intention. The Hermetic masters taught, as above, so below, the principle that your inner world creates your outer reality. Helen, a modern-day teacher, discovered these truths without knowing their ancient origins. Each morning, she would sit in silence, holding a clear vision of her desired reality. Without realizing it, she was practicing what the ancient Greeks called theosis, becoming one with the divine creative force. As her practice deepened, Helen noticed synchronicities multiplying in her life. Opportunities appeared as if summoned. Resources flowed effortlessly. She had unknowingly tapped into what the ancients knew, that alignment is not about making things happen, but about allowing universal forces to work through you. To access this timeless wisdom, practice this ancient technique. Take a blank parchment or paper, and using your non-dominant hand, write your deepest intention. This activates both hemispheres of your brain, just as the ancient scribes did when recording sacred texts. Then close your eyes and hold the paper to your heart, breathing slowly for 7 cycles, the number of completion in many mystical traditions. Finally, burn the paper, releasing your intention to the universal forces, trusting in the ancient wisdom that what is written in consciousness must manifest in form. This ritual, practiced consistently, aligns you with the same creative forces that the ancients understood and wielded. Through it, you join an unbroken lineage of those who have known and used these eternal truths. Like the mystics of old who inscribed their intentions upon sacred scrolls, you tap into the vibrational frequency that resonates through the ages. Each time you perform this ceremony, you strengthen your connection to the universal mind, becoming a conscious co-creator with the divine forces that shape reality. The ancient ones knew that such practices were not mere symbolic gestures, but powerful keys that unlock the gateway between thought and manifestation. Chapter 7. The Magnetic Mind. In the quiet corners of his study, Clarence sat before his typewriter, unaware that each keystroke was not merely crafting fiction, but weaving the very fabric of his existence. His plays, filled with characters trapped in cycles of misfortune, unknowingly mirrored his own deepening struggles. The thoughts he poured onto paper became the blueprint of his reality. Your thoughts are not mere whispers in the void. They are architects of destiny, sculptors of circumstance, shapers of the world you inhabit. Each thought carries a vibration, an energy signature that ripples through the quantum field of possibility. These thought forms, as the ancient mystics named them, crystallize into the circumstances you call reality. When you understand this truth, you begin to witness the awesome power you wield in every moment. Your mental dialogue is not contained within your mind. It radiates outward, attracting circumstances that match its frequency. Those who seem blessed by fortune have simply, often unconsciously, aligned their thought patterns with what they desire. Mildred discovered this truth through an unexpected channel. For years, she had narrated a story of limitation in her mind. Nothing ever works out for me. I'm too old to start again. Success is for other people. These thoughts had become her prison, their walls as real as any physical barrier. One morning, while cleaning her attic, she found her grandmother's journal. Within its chapters, she discovered entries that shifted from despair to triumph, simply through a change in the writer's inner narrative. Something awakened in Mildred. She began to observe her own mental story with new awareness. Day by day, she consciously rewrote her inner script. I am open to infinite possibilities, replaced, nothing ever works out. Each day brings new opportunities, superseded, I'm too old. Within months, her external world began to shift, as if reality itself was being rewritten to match her new mental manuscript. To master your own thought forms, practice this ancient technique of thought observation. For 3 days, carry a small notebook. At the top of each page, write, I am the witness. Each time you notice a thought about your capabilities or future, record it without judgment. At sunset, review your entries, marking each thought with a symbol, a circle for limiting thoughts, a star for expensive ones. This practice, passed down through generations of wisdom keepers, brings unconscious patterns into the light of awareness. Through observation, these patterns lose their power, allowing new thought forms to take root and flourish. Chapter 8. The Power of Presence. In the twilight of his life, Herbert lay in his hospital bed, his mind filled with regrets of all the moments he had missed while chasing tomorrow. For decades he had lived by his calendar, always planning, always preparing, never truly experiencing the power of now. When I achieve this, he would say, then I'll be ready to live. Yet that moment of readiness never arrived. You hold within your grasp the most powerful force in the universe, this present moment. It is the only point where manifestation occurs, the singular instant where thought transforms into reality. The future exists only in imagination, the past only in memory, but the now is where your power resides. When you project your consciousness into an imagined future or a remembered past, you scatter your energy across time. This dispersion weakens your ability to align with the universal forces that shape reality. The masters of manifestation understand that power lies in presence, complete immersion in the eternal now. Beatrice discovered this truth in an unexpected way. After losing everything afresh, she found herself living in a small room with only basic necessities. At first, she agonized over her losses and her future. But one morning, as sunlight strained through her window, she noticed how the dust particles danced in the golden light. In that moment of pure observation, something shifted. She began to live differently, giving her full attention to each moment: the taste of her morning tea, the texture of her worn blanket, the sound of rain on the roof. As her presence deepened, she noticed that life began responding differently. Opportunities appeared as if by magic, relationships deepened, and solutions emerged effortlessly. She had stumbled upon what the ancient ones knew: the present moment is the point of power. To access this timeless power, practice this exercise passed down through generations. Sit in stillness and bring your attention to your breath. Now, expand your awareness to include the sounds around you. Notice how you can hear multiple sounds simultaneously without focusing on any particular one. This is the state of pure presence. From this space, feel the aliveness in your hands. This tingling sensation is your connection to the universal force, available only in this moment. Practice this awareness throughout your day, especially when engaged in simple tasks. The more you anchor yourself in the now, the more you align with the creative power of the universe. Chapter 9: The Divine Mirror. In the bustling marketplace of a distant city, Franklin stood amidst the chaos, cursing his misfortune. Every transaction seemed to go wrong, every merchant appeared hostile, and every opportunity slipped through his fingers. "The world is against me," he would mutter, not realizing that these very words shaped the reality before him. You stand now at the threshold of understanding one of the most powerful, universal truths. The world around you is not separate from you. It is you, reflected back in infinite forms. This principle transcends mere positive thinking. It speaks to the very nature of existence itself. The universe operates as a grand mirror, reflecting with perfect precision the energy you emanate. When you walk through life carrying anger, the world presents you with more reasons to be angry. When you move through your days harboring distrust, circumstances arise that validate your suspicion. This is not punishment or reward. It is simply the law of reflection operating with mathematical precision. Clara understood this truth through an unexpected turn of events. For years, she had encountered the same pattern in her life. People would initially welcome her warmly, then gradually become distant. In her solitude one evening, she gazed into her mirror and saw something beyond her physical reflection. She noticed how she herself would withdraw from others, anticipating their eventual departure. The pattern she blamed others for was emanating from within. That night, she began a practice that would transform her reality. Each morning, she stood before her mirror, looking deeply into her own eyes. Instead of focusing on surface appearances, she observed the energy she projected. She noticed how her shoulders tensed when thinking of certain relationships, how her eyes hardened when contemplating work, how her breath shortened when considering her future. Gradually, she began shifting these physical manifestations of her inner state. As she softened her gaze, the world began responding with gentleness. As she relaxed her stance, opportunities flowed more easily. As she opened her heart, relationships deepened naturally. The external world transformed not because she demanded it to change, but because she had changed. To access this transformative power, practice this ancient mirror technique. stand before a mirror in complete solitude. Gaze into your own eyes for several minutes, observing without judgment. Notice how you feel when thinking about different aspects of your life: relationships, work, abundance, health. Watch how your reflection shifts with each thought. Now consciously soften your expression, relax your shoulders, and breathe deeply. Feel yourself radiating the energy you wish to receive from the world. This is not pretense. It is alignment with what you wish to create. Perform this practice daily, remembering that what you see before you in life is always a reflection of what you are, not merely what you want. Chapter 10. Your first test. In the shadows of an ancient library, Archibald pored over countless texts, seeking empirical evidence for every phenomenon he encountered. As a renowned scientist, he dismissed what others called signs as mere coincidence, until one remarkable week changed everything. When you begin to understand the language of the universe, you realize it has been speaking to you all along. The world around you is not random. It is a living, breathing conversation between your consciousness and the infinite intelligence that orchestrates all of existence. The signs of alignment manifest in three distinct ways. First, through synchronicities, those moments when seemingly unrelated events converge with perfect timing. Second, through the quiet whispers of intuition, that knowing beyond reason which guides you toward or away from certain paths. Third, through unmistakable confirmations, events so precisely aligned with your thoughts that they cannot be dismissed as chance. The universe speaks in patterns, not coincidences. When you see recurring numbers, encounter the same message in different forms, or meet people who reflect your current thoughts, you are witnessing the echo of your own alignment. A humble merchant named Sophia discovered this truth unexpectedly. Each morning, she would contemplate a specific challenge in her business. Without fail, within hours, a stranger would speak the exact wisdom she needed. At first, she dismissed these occurrences, but as they multiplied, she began documenting them. Through her careful observation, she uncovered a profound truth. The universe was not randomly responding, it was engaged in constant dialogue. To master the art of reading signs, you must first acknowledge their existence. Begin by observing without judgment. Notice the subtle ways life responds to your thoughts. Pay attention to recurring themes, unexpected connections, and moments that feel charged with meaning. The ancient practice of sign recognition requires three elements: awareness, acceptance, and action. Awareness allows you to notice the signs. Acceptance opens you to their meaning. Action demonstrates your trust in the guidance received. To integrate this wisdom, maintain a daily record of signs and synchronicities. Each evening, document the moments that stood out, the unexpected encounters, the timely messages, the intuitive nudges. Note your initial thoughts and the eventual outcomes. Through this practice, patterns will emerge, revealing the intricate ways the universe communicates with you. Remember, signs appear most clearly when you release the need to control their form. They may arrive as a chance conversation, a book falling open to a specific page, or a recurring symbol. The key is not in forcing their appearance, but in remaining open to their presence. This practice will attune you to the subtle language of the universe, transforming coincidence into conversation and uncertainty into guidance. The signs have always been there. You are simply learning to read them. Part 2. Unlocking the Source, Activating the Power Within. Chapter 11. The Sacred Shift. In a bustling port town, Eugene stood at the helm of his shipping company, muscles tense and mind racing with endless calculations. Each day was a battle against time, competitors, and the unpredictable market. His success had come through sheer force of will, yet exhaustion had become his constant companion. You too may recognize this pattern, the belief that achievement demands constant struggle. Yet hidden within the fabric of existence lies a profound truth. The universe operates not through force, but through flow. One misty morning, Eugene encountered an old sailor named Thomas, whose small vessel consistently outperformed larger ships. While others fought against treacherous waters, Thomas's boat seemed to dance with the waves, arriving at destinations with remarkable ease. The secret, Thomas shared, lies not in fighting the current, but in becoming one with it. This wisdom echoes through the ages. When you align with the natural flow of universal energy, life ceases to be a constant battle. Like water finding its path to the sea, your desires manifest with graceful inevitability. The difference between effort and flow lies in your relationship with the present moment. Those who struggle attempt to impose their will upon reality. Those who flow understand that power comes through alignment with what is. Irene's story mirrors this truth. Her technology startup consumed every waking moment. She micromanaged each detail, pushed every deadline, and drove herself to the brink of collapse. Success remained elusive until the day she released her grip on control. In that space of surrender, something remarkable occurred. Solutions appeared effortlessly. The right people entered her life at precisely the right moments. Opportunities unfolded naturally, as if orchestrated by an invisible hand. To shift from effort to flow requires a fundamental transformation in how you approach life. Instead of forcing outcomes, allow them to emerge. Rather than pushing against resistance, observe where energy naturally wants to move. This ancient practice will help you experience the difference between effort and flow. Sit quietly and extend your arms forward, muscles tense and rigid. Hold this position while focusing on a goal you've been struggling to achieve. Notice the sensation of force and resistance. Now, gradually release the tension in your arms, letting them float weightlessly. As physical relaxation deepens, observe how your relationship with your goal shifts. This is the feeling of moving from effort to flow. Through this simple exercise, you begin to embody the truth that has guided masters throughout history. Power does not come from force, but from alignment with the natural current of life. Chapter 12. Unlocking the Heart Frequency. In the marble halls of his mansion, Roscoe stood surrounded by every luxury money could buy, yet an emptiness echoed through his being. His strategic mind had built empires, but his heart remained a barren wasteland. You may recognize this void, the sensation that despite external success, something essential remains missing. The ancient masters knew what modern science now validates. The heart generates an electromagnetic field 5,000 times stronger than the brain's. This field extends beyond your physical form, touching and transforming the fabric of reality itself. Within your heart lies a power that transcends mere manifestation techniques. It is not enough to think positive thoughts or repeat affirmations. The frequency of your heart, its emotional resonance, creates ripples through the quantum field, attracting or repelling experiences with invisible force. Marjorie understood this truth only after losing everything. Living in fear, she had created a fortress around her heart, believing protection meant strength. Each morning, she would meticulously visualize her goals, unaware that her heart's contracted state was silently sabotaging her desires. The transformation began the day she discovered an ancient meditation practice. Instead of forcing positive thoughts, she learned to open her heart, allowing love to flow naturally. As her heart's frequency shifted, reality responded in kind. Opportunities appeared effortlessly, relationships deepened, and abundance flowed from unexpected sources. This is the forgotten key. Your heart's electromagnetic field speaks a language more powerful than words. When you align your heart with the frequency of love, you tap into the universe's primary creative force. To activate this power within yourself, practice this heart coherence meditation. Place your hand over your heart center. Breathe slowly and deeply, as if drawing breath directly through your heart. Remember a moment of pure love or gratitude, allowing this feeling to expand with each breath. Visualize this love as golden light radiating from your heart, touching everything in your field of awareness. Maintain this state for several minutes, noting how your entire being shifts into alignment with this higher frequency. This practice, passed down through generations of wisdom keepers and mystic sages, attunes you to the most powerful attractive force in existence, the frequency of an open heart. Like a master key that unlocks the deepest mysteries of the universe, this ancient technique aligns you with the eternal current of divine love, drawing to you all that resonates with your highest good. As you cultivate this sacred vibration within your being, you become a living beacon of light, naturally attracting circumstances, relationships, and opportunities that mirror the pure essence of love you radiate. The masters of old understood that this heart-centered practice was not merely a ritual, but a gateway to accessing the infinite creative power that flows through all things. When you step into this timeless stream of wisdom, you tap into the same force that moves mountains, guides stars, and transforms ordinary moments into divine encounters. Chapter 13: The Silence Between Thoughts. In the bustling marketplace of a distant city, Clyde moved through life like a man possessed, his mind an endless stream of thoughts, plans, and worries. His success in business came at the cost of inner peace, until fate intervened through an unexpected illness that took his voice for 40 days. You too may recognize this pattern, the constant mental chatter that drowns out the universe's gentle guidance. Between every thought lies a gateway to infinite wisdom, yet few pause long enough to discover it. In the enforced silence of his recovery, Clyde began to notice something extraordinary. Without the ability to speak, he started to truly listen. The world revealed itself in new ways, not through words, but through an inner knowing that transcended language. His business decisions, once calculated through endless analysis, now flowed from a place of intuitive certainty. The universe speaks in whispers, not shouts. Its guidance arrives in those precious moments when the mind grows still, like dewdrops forming in the quiet of dawn. Those who master the art of inner silence tap into a wisdom beyond human comprehension. Agatha, a renowned pianist, discovered this truth during a period of creative drought. For years, she had focused solely on perfecting her technique, practicing until her fingers bled. Yet her music, though technically flawless, left audiences unmoved. One evening, while sitting at her piano in frustration, she noticed the spaces between the notes, the brief moments of silence that gave the music its soul. In these intervals, she found what her compositions had been missing. It wasn't about adding more notes, but about allowing the silence to speak. Just as music finds its power in the spaces between notes, your connection to universal wisdom strengthens in the spaces between thoughts. These moments of silence are not empty. They are filled with the universe's guidance waiting to be received. To attune yourself to this divine whisper, practice this ancient technique. Find a comfortable position and close your eyes. Instead of trying to silence your thoughts, simply observe the spaces between them. Notice how each thought rises and falls like waves on an ocean. Don't grasp at the silence. Allow it to find you. When guidance appears, it will come not as words, but as a knowing that resonates through your entire being. This practice, handed down through generations of mystics, opens a channel to the universe's infinite intelligence. In these moments of sacred silence, you'll discover that the answers you seek have always been present, waiting in the space between your thoughts. Before we get into the next chapter, you can download a free ebook version of this audiobook using the link in the pinned comment below this video. Chapter 14. The Art of Surrender. In the halls of power, Wallace stood as a testament to control. His signature graced every document, his eyes scrutinized every detail, and his hand guided every decision. You might recognize this drive, the need to orchestrate every aspect of life, believing that through sheer force of will, you can bend reality to your desires. Yet the universe holds a deeper wisdom. Control, while appearing as strength, often masks a profound fear, fear of the unknown, fear of letting go, fear of trust. Wallace discovered this truth when his carefully constructed world began to crumble, not through failure, but through success that exceeded his ability to manage it. You see, true power does not come from gripping tightly to the reins of life, but from aligning with the natural flow of existence. Just as water finds its path without forcing, just as leaves dance with the wind without resistance, your greatest achievements await in the space of trust. Dorothy, a renowned artist, spent decades attempting to force her vision into being. Each brushstroke was calculated, each composition meticulously planned. Her work was admired but never moved beyond technical excellence. Then came the day when her hands began to shake, a condition that threatened everything she had built. In that moment of apparent crisis, Dorothy discovered something extraordinary. Unable to maintain her precise control, she began to paint from a place of surrender. Her trembling hands created shapes and patterns she never would have chosen consciously. The art that emerged carried a life force that her controlled works had never achieved. Galleries that had passed her by now sought her work. Critics who had labeled her talented but predictable now spoke of genius. The universe operates through a perfect orchestration that exceeds human understanding. When you release your grip on how things must be, you allow this higher intelligence to work through you. This is not passive resignation, but active alignment with the force that moves worlds. Here lies the ancient practice of power through surrender. Sit in stillness and bring to mind something you have been trying to control. Feel the tension this control creates in your body. Now imagine this situation as water held tightly in your closed fist. Slowly, open your hand and watch in your mind's eye as the water flows freely, finding its natural path. Notice how this release feels in your body. This sensation, this lightness, is the feeling of allowing the universe to work through you, rather than against you. In this space of trust, you will find that what you have been striving to achieve often manifests with an ease and grace that no amount of forcing could accomplish. The universe's flow carries more power than any human effort could generate. Chapter 15. The Sacred Ritual. In the dusty archives of an ancient library, Harold discovered a manuscript that would forever alter his understanding of reality. The yellowed chapters contained not philosophical discourse or theoretical wisdom, but something far more precious, a daily practice that had been passed down through generations of mystics. You have been taught that miracles are rare occurrences, reserved for the chosen few. Yet the truth lies hidden in plain sight. Miracles are the natural state of existence when you align with the universal flow. Just as the sun rises without effort, just as flowers bloom without strain, abundance flows to those who understand the rhythm of creation. The power of daily practice lies not in complexity, but in consistency. Each morning holds within it the seed of infinite potential. Those who have mastered manifestation know that the first moments of consciousness shape the energy of the entire day. Through his studies, Harold uncovered that all great spiritual masters, regardless of their tradition, maintained specific morning rituals. These weren't mere habits, but precise attunements to the cosmic frequency of creation. Bessie taught at a small school, her life marked by routine and modest expectations. Yet when she discovered these ancient practices, something shifted. Each morning before the world stirred, she would sit in sacred silence, aligning her energy with the universal current. Within 30 days, opportunities began appearing as if by magic. Her students transformed, her colleagues noticed a new presence about her, and circumstances arranged themselves in ways she could never have orchestrated. The morning ritual you are about to receive has been preserved through centuries. It begins in the sacred hour before dawn, when the veil between worlds is thinnest. Find a quiet space and sit facing east, where new beginnings emerge. Place your hands on your heart, connecting with the pulse of creation itself. Breathe deeply, allowing each breath to align you more perfectly with the universal current. Speak these words with reverence. I align with the perfect flow of all creation. As the sun rises without effort, so too does abundance flow through me effortlessly. I am one with the source of all manifestation. Visualize golden light entering through your crown, filling every cell with divine energy. Feel yourself becoming a clear channel for miracles. Hold this state for 12 minutes, allowing the frequency of creation to attune your entire being. Close by, placing your right hand on the earth, grounding this elevated energy into physical reality. This practice, when performed consistently for 30 days, opens channels of manifestation that have remained dormant within you. Chapter 16. Signs, Symbols, and Synchronicities. In the heart of a bustling metropolis, Orville lived his life by numbers and logic. Each morning he analyzed market trends, studied statistical patterns, and made decisions based purely on data. The universe, however, had other plans for awakening his awareness to a deeper truth. You see, the language of the universe speaks not through spreadsheets and calculations, but through the poetry of synchronicity. When aligned with the cosmic flow, messages appear with such precision that even the most steadfast skeptic must pause and take notice. For Orville, the awakening began when 3 identical black cats crossed his path on 3 consecutive days, each time as he contemplated a crucial business decision. Initially, he dismissed these occurrences as mere coincidence. Yet when the number 333 appeared on his coffee receipt, his parking spot, and his new client's address, all within hours, something within him shifted. The universe communicates through patterns, repetition, and meaningful coincidences that defy statistical probability. These signs serve as cosmic confirmation when you're aligned with your highest path, or as gentle course corrections when you've strayed. Florence, a young artist, discovered this truth through her own journey. Each time she painted, certain symbols would appear in her work unconsciously. These same symbols would later manifest in her daily life: a spiral on a stranger's necklace, a peculiar cloud formation, a pattern in fallen leaves. As she began noting these occurrences, she realized the universe was leading her toward opportunities she could never have planned. When you attune yourself to this divine language, life becomes a sacred dialogue. Numbers may appear repeatedly, certain animals may cross your path at significant moments, or specific songs might play exactly when you need their message. These are not random events, but precise communications from universal intelligence. The key lies in developing your awareness of these subtle messages. Begin by maintaining a synchronicity journal. Each evening, record the meaningful coincidences, repeated patterns, and unusual occurrences of your day. Note the thoughts you were having when these signs appeared. Over time, you'll discover your personal symbolic language with the universe. Create 3 columns in your journal: sign, context, and insight. Under sign, describe the synchronicity you witnessed. Under context, record what you were thinking or doing when it occurred. Under insight, write your interpretation of the message. This practice will sharpen your ability to read the universe's signals and align more precisely with its guidance. As you cultivate this awareness, you'll find that the universe has always been speaking. You're simply learning its timeless language. Like a child first grasping their native tongue, you'll begin to recognize the subtle patterns and rhythms that have surrounded you since birth. What once seemed like mere coincidence will reveal itself as an intricate tapestry of meaning, woven with purpose and divine intelligence. Trust that as your understanding deepens, the messages will become increasingly clear and profound. Chapter 17, The Power of Words. In the quiet corners of an old theater, Milton crafted stories that moved audiences to tears and laughter. Yet he remained unaware that his greatest work was not written on paper, but through the words he spoke into existence each day. You possess this same creative power, though you may not yet recognize its magnitude. Every word that passes your lips carries a vibration, an energetic signature that ripples through the fabric of reality. These vibrations accumulate, forming the unseen architecture of your life experience. When you declare, "I can't," the universe aligns to make it so. When you speak of lack, scarcity follows. Your words are not mere sounds dissipating into the air. They are commands to the universal force that shapes all things. Milton spoke often of struggle, of doors closing, of opportunities passing him by. And so they did, for the universe honors every declaration as a creative command. His breakthrough came not through a change in circumstances, but through a transformation in his daily dialogue with existence. Lucille, a merchant in a small coastal town, discovered this truth through her own journey. Each morning, she would speak of her shop as small, her profits as modest, her future as uncertain. As these words flowed from her lips day after day, they wove a tapestry of limitation around her life. Then came the day she began to watch her words with the same care a jeweler gives to precious stones. "My business is growing," she would say. "Abundance flows to me naturally. I am aligned with prosperity." Within months, her reality began to mirror her new linguistic patterns. You see, language is not simply a tool for communication. It is the very blueprint from which your reality is constructed. Each word you speak is a seed planted in the fertile soil of possibility. Some seeds grow into gardens of abundance, others sprout weeds of limitation. To harness this power, begin a language audit of your daily speech. For 7 days, carry a small notebook and record the phrases you speak most often about yourself, your life, and your future. Notice which words carry the weight of limitation and which ones wing toward possibility. Then, systematically replace each low-vibration word with its higher counterpart. "I'm trying" becomes "I am doing." "I hope" transforms into "I know." "Maybe" shifts to "certainly." This is not mere positive thinking. It is energetic realignment through the power of sacred speech. Through this practice, you will discover that your words have always been spells, and you have always been the magician. The question is not whether you are creating through language, but what you are creating. Create your personal lexicon of power words, terms that resonate with the frequency of your desired reality. Let these words become your daily bread, nourishing the reality you wish to manifest. Chapter 18: The Hidden Power of Gratitude. In the shadows of a grand estate now fallen into disrepair, lived Hubert, a man whose heart had grown as cold as the marble floors beneath his feet. Each morning he would count his losses rather than his blessings, cursing the universe for what it had taken from him. You may recognize this pattern within yourself, the tendency to focus on what is missing rather than what remains. This orientation toward lack creates a powerful energetic signal that the universe must honor, bringing more experiences that match this frequency of deficiency. The truth lies in an ancient principle. Gratitude is not merely an emotion. It is a force of creation itself. When you truly appreciate something, you activate a magnetic power that draws more of its essence toward you. This is not magic, but rather the natural operation of universal law. Hubert's transformation began when illness confined him to his bed for months. In this forced stillness, he noticed the way sunlight painted patterns on his wall each morning, the kindness of the neighborhood child who brought him bread, the sound of birds that had built a nest outside his window. These small appreciations began to shift something within him, and as they did, his external world responded in kind. Sylvia, an artist living in a modest apartment, discovered this truth through a different path. Her canvases remained unsold, her debts mounted, and her dreams seemed to slip further away with each passing day. Yet one evening, as she watched the sunset paint the sky in colors she could never quite capture, something stirred within her. She began to appreciate the very tools of her craft, the texture of her brushes, the scent of paint, the blank canvas full of possibility. She found gratitude for the ability to create, for her working hands, for the space to practice her art. As her appreciation deepened, a shift occurred. Opportunities appeared, collectors discovered her work, and her art began to resonate with others in ways it never had before. You see, gratitude is not a passive response to good fortune. It is an active force that commands reality itself. When you truly appreciate what you have, you align with the frequency of abundance, and the universe must respond in kind. The ancient masters understood this principle well. They knew that appreciation was not merely a practice of counting blessings, but a powerful tool for transformation. Through genuine gratitude, you signal to the universe that you are ready to receive more of what you value. Begin each evening with this sacred practice. Take 3 deep breaths and place your hand upon your heart. Speak aloud 3 specific moments from your day that stirred genuine appreciation within you. Feel the emotion of gratitude fully in your body as you recall each instance. Let this feeling expand until it fills your entire being. This is not merely an exercise in positivity. It is an energetic command to the universe calling forth more experiences worthy of your appreciation. Chapter 19: Quantum Leaps. In the quiet hills of a forgotten valley, Bernard tended his small garden each day, following the same routines he had maintained for decades. His life was a testament to consistency, unchanging, predictable, and safe. Yet beneath this carefully maintained surface, an untapped potential waited to emerge. You see, the universe operates not in grand, sweeping motions, but through subtle shifts that ripple outward with unexpected power. Just as a single-degree change in a ship's trajectory can alter its destination by thousands of miles, the smallest adjustment in your energetic alignment can transform your entire reality. Bernard's awakening came through a simple observation. One morning, rather than viewing his garden as a daily chore, he allowed himself to feel genuine curiosity about the growth of a single seedling. This minute shift in perception from obligation to wonder began a cascade of changes that would ultimately reshape his entire existence. The law of quantum transformation reveals that reality responds not to the magnitude of our actions, but to the quality of our energetic alignment. When you adjust your inner frequency, even slightly, the universe must reorganize itself to match this new vibration. Gertrude, a shopkeeper in a small town, discovered this truth through her own experience. For years, she had viewed her customers as interruptions to her work, until one day she made a single decision to see each person as a teacher bringing a lesson. This subtle internal shift, seemingly insignificant, set in motion a series of events that transformed her modest shop into a thriving community hub. You hold within you the power to initiate quantum change at any moment. It requires not grand gestures or complete life overhauls, but rather precise adjustments in your energetic frequency. The ancient wisdom keepers understood this principle intimately. They knew that transformation occurs not through force, but through alignment with the natural flow of universal energy. When you make even the smallest shift toward alignment, the universe responds with exponential force. To activate this principle in your own life, practice this sacred alignment technique. Stand in stillness and bring your awareness to your breath. Choose one aspect of your current reality that you wish to transform. Rather than forcing change, make a single subtle shift in how you perceive this situation. Perhaps view a challenge as an opportunity, or see a limitation as protection. Hold this new perspective for 3 complete breaths, allowing it to anchor into your energetic field. This micro-adjustment, when maintained, becomes the catalyst for quantum transformation. Chapter 20. Breaking the Cycle. In the shadows of an ancient library, Lester sat surrounded by books that promised transformation, yet found himself repeating the same self-defeating behaviors that had haunted him for decades. His story mirrors a truth you may recognize: knowledge alone cannot break the chains of old patterns. The universe operates through precise laws, and one of the most powerful yet overlooked is the law of pattern. Just as planets are held in orbit by gravitational forces, your life is held in place by invisible energetic patterns created through years of repeated thoughts, emotions, and actions. You may wonder why, despite understanding the principles of manifestation, certain areas of your life remain unchanged. The answer lies not in what you know, but in the unseen forces that pull you back to familiar territory. These patterns, like gravity itself, operate beyond conscious awareness until you learn to recognize their pull. Ethel, a merchant's daughter, lived this truth. Each morning, she would wake with fresh resolve to change her circumstances, yet by nightfall found herself exactly where she began. Her breakthrough came not through trying harder, but through understanding that her present reality was merely an echo of old energetic patterns. The key to breaking free lies in recognition. When you become aware of a pattern's presence, its power begins to dissolve. This is not about fighting against old ways, but about shifting your energy so completely that the old pattern can no longer maintain its hold. Think of it like this. A planet cannot escape its orbit through force alone. It must change its vibrational frequency to such a degree that the old gravitational field no longer affects it. Similarly, you cannot break free from patterns through willpower alone. You must shift your energetic signature until the old pattern simply falls away. To initiate this release, sit in stillness each morning. Bring your awareness to a recurring situation in your life. Rather than analyzing it with your mind, Feel its energetic signature in your body. Notice where this pattern lives within you, perhaps as tension in your shoulders, a heaviness in your chest, or a knot in your stomach. This sensation is the physical manifestation of the pattern's gravitational pull. Now, without trying to change anything, simply observe this sensation with complete acceptance. Feel how it moves, how it breathes. In this space of pure awareness, something remarkable begins to happen. The pattern starts to lose its grip. Follow this with the ancient practice of pattern dissolution. Place your hand over the area where you feel the pattern's presence. Breathe deeply into this space while silently affirming, "I release what no longer serves my highest alignment." Continue until you feel a subtle shift, a lightening of the energy. This is the moment when the old pattern begins to dissolve and a new reality becomes possible. Part 3, Mastering Reality, Becoming the Ultimate Creator. Chapter 21, The Infinite Self. In the heart of an ancient city, Reginald lived as countless others did, believing himself bound by the walls of circumstance. Each morning, he would gaze at his reflection, seeing only what he wasn't, what he couldn't do, what seemed forever beyond his reach. You too may recognize this feeling, this invisible cage that seems to define the boundaries of your potential. Yet what you perceive as limitations are merely shadows cast by beliefs that have no substance in truth. The universe knows no bounds. It expands endlessly, creating worlds upon worlds without hesitation or doubt. This same force flows through you, waiting to be recognized, waiting to be unleashed. When you believe yourself small, you dim this infinite light within, operating from a fraction of your true capacity. One autumn evening, Reginald encountered an aging philosopher in the market square. The old man looked at him with eyes that seemed to peer through time itself, and spoke words that would alter the course of his life. You see yourself as a drop in the ocean, when in truth you are the ocean in a drop. This truth resonates through the ages. You are not separate from the creative force that shapes reality. You are that force individualized, expressing itself through your unique form. Those who struggle do so because they have forgotten their true nature, attempting to manifest from a place of perceived smallness rather than inherent power. Virginia, a seamstress in a modest shop, embodied this transformation. For years, she crafted beautiful garments for others while wearing threadbare clothes herself, believing this was all she deserved. Then one night, as she stitched by candlelight, she caught a glimpse of something in her reflection. Not the woman she thought she was, but the infinite being she had always been. In that moment of recognition, everything shifted. Her hands began creating designs that seemed to flow from some divine source. Clients who once passed her shop now stopped in wonder. She had not gained any new skills. She had simply allowed her true power to express itself. The truth that transformed Virginia awaits your recognition. You are not a limited being seeking to become powerful. You are power itself, temporarily believing in limitations. To experience this truth directly, find a quiet space where you won't be disturbed. Close your eyes and feel the energy that animates your body. This force that moves your breath, powers your heartbeat, and sparks your thoughts. This is not separate from you. It is you. Let your awareness expand beyond your physical form, beyond the room, beyond all perceived boundaries. Feel yourself as the vast ocean of consciousness from which all possibilities arise. Chapter 22. Beyond Visualization. In a dimly lit study lined with ancient texts, Clarence sat surrounded by vision boards, affirmations, and carefully crafted plans. Night after night, he would picture his ideal life with perfect clarity. The success, the abundance, the joy. Yet morning after morning he would wake to find reality unchanged, the gap between his dreams and his life as wide as ever. You may recognize yourself in Clarence's struggle. Perhaps you too have spent countless hours visualizing your desires, wondering why the images in your mind refuse to manifest in your world. The answer lies not in seeing more clearly, but in a profound shift of being. The universe responds not to what you want, but to what you are. This is the hidden wisdom that transforms mere wishful thinking into manifest reality. When you simply visualize success, you remain in the energy of wanting, of lacking, of separation from your desire. But when you embody the essence of what you seek, reality has no choice but to reflect this truth back to you. Genevieve understood this principle without knowing its name. Working as a clerk in a small shop, she noticed how wealthy customers carried themselves differently, not with arrogance, but with a quiet certainty, an unwavering sense of abundance. Instead of dreaming about wealth or copying external behaviors, she began to explore the feeling of abundance itself. She walked through her modest apartment feeling the richness of every moment. She handled her few possessions with the same reverence others reserved for treasures. She breathed as though the air itself was filled with prosperity. She did not pretend or pretend. She simply allowed herself to be one with the energy of abundance. Within weeks, subtle shifts began occurring. Opportunities appeared that she would have missed before. Her decisions came from a place of abundance rather than scarcity. The universe began responding not to her wishes but to her way of being. To align with this truth, practice this ancient technique of embodiment. Sit in stillness and bring to mind something you desire. Now, instead of picturing it as something external to achieve, feel the essence of already being it. If it's abundance you seek, feel the peace and certainty of having more than enough. If it's love, feel the warmth and completeness of being love itself. Let every cell of your body vibrate with the truth of already being what you seek. This is not imagination or pretense. It is allowing yourself to resonate with what is already true at the deepest level. For in the infinite field of all possibilities, you are already everything you wish to become. Your task is not to create something new, but to align with what already is. Chapter 23, The Power of Detachment. In the heart of a bustling marketplace, Edgar clutched his coins tightly, counting them obsessively throughout the day. His eyes darted between wealthy merchants, his mind consumed with schemes to acquire what they possessed. The more desperately he pursued wealth, the more it seemed to slip through his fingers like water. You too may recognize this pattern in your own life. The very things you chase most fervently often remain just beyond reach, as though pushed away by the force of your wanting. This is no coincidence, but rather a fundamental law of the universe that few understand. One afternoon, Edgar encountered an old merchant who sat peacefully among his wares, seemingly unconcerned with whether they sold or not. Despite this apparent indifference, customers flocked to his stall, wealth flowing to him with remarkable ease. The merchant shared a truth that would transform Edgar's understanding. The tighter you grasp, the less you can hold. This principle operates throughout all of existence. When you need something desperately, you emit an energy of lack that repels the very thing you seek. Your attachment creates resistance in the universal flow, like a dam blocking a river's natural course. Mildred, a talented musician, lived this truth without realizing it. For years, she pursued fame with single-minded determination, practicing until her fingers bled, sending countless recordings to producers who never responded. Her desperation created a wall between her and success. One day, exhausted by the chase, she simply let go. She began playing music purely for the joy it brought her, unconcerned with who might be listening. In that release, something shifted. The very producers who had ignored her suddenly appeared at her performances. Opportunities arose effortlessly, drawn to her natural state of flow. To align with this principle, release the desperate energy that blocks your desires. Sit quietly and bring to mind something you've been chasing. Feel the tension and anxiety associated with wanting it. Now imagine this tension as a physical object in your hands. Slowly, deliberately, open your palms and watch it float away. Feel the lightness that remains. In this space of detachment, you become a clear channel for abundance to flow through. This practice is not about giving up on your desires, but rather about releasing the emotional charge that prevents them from manifesting. When you want nothing, you become open to receiving everything. The universe responds not to your demands, but to your state of being. The ancient ones knew this truth. Attachment is the source of suffering, while detachment is the key to effortless manifestation. In releasing your grip on what you seek, you create the space for it to naturally flow into your life. Chapter 24. Time is an Illusion. In the quiet halls of an ancient library, Horace sat surrounded by clocks, each ticking away in perfect synchronization. His eyes darted between them, watching as precious moments slipped away. Like many, he believed time was a rigid master moving only in one direction, constraining all possibilities within its linear march. You have likely felt this same pressure, the weight of time bearing down upon your dreams, creating artificial deadlines and limitations. Yet, what you perceive as time is merely a construct of consciousness, a way of organizing experience rather than an absolute truth. When you align with the deeper reality, you discover that time is not a river flowing in one direction, but an ocean of infinite possibility. Every moment contains within it all moments, and through consciousness you can access any point in this vast expanse. Horace's revelation came when he noticed something peculiar about the clocks. Each time he focused intensely on his desired future, the ticking seemed to slow, sometimes stopping altogether. In these moments of perfect alignment, he glimpsed a truth. Consciousness shapes time, not the other way around. The ancient mystics understood this principle. They knew that what you call the future already exists in a state of completion. Your task is not to create it, but to align with it. When you shift your consciousness to resonate with your desired reality, time bends to accommodate your alignment. Estelle, a painter, embodied this wisdom without knowing its deeper mechanics. For years, she struggled to make time for her art, always pushing her dreams into some distant future. Then one morning she made a simple yet profound decision. She would live as though she were already the successful artist she dreamed of becoming. She began arranging her day as if galleries were already clamoring for her work. She spoke about her art with the quiet confidence of someone who had already achieved recognition. She treated her studio time as sacred appointments that could not be broken. To her amazement, reality began reorganizing itself around this new alignment. Opportunities that should have taken years manifested in weeks. People began treating her as the artist she knew herself to be, before any external success had manifested. To step into this timeless alignment yourself, find a quiet space where you won't be disturbed. Close your eyes and allow your awareness to expand beyond the linear flow of time. Feel yourself at one with the eternal now, where all possibilities exist simultaneously. From this space, simply notice your desired reality as if it were already complete. Don't strain to make it happen. Simply recognize it as done. Feel the relief of knowing that what you seek already exists, waiting for you to align with it. Let go of when and how it will manifest. Instead, rest in the certainty of its completion. From this state of alignment, watch as time itself bends to bring your vision into physical reality. Chapter 25. The State of Inevitable Success. In the heart of a bustling marketplace, Luther stood before his empty shop, anxiety gnawing at his thoughts. Like countless others, he lived in the energy of what if, a vibration that pushed his desires forever into an uncertain future. You too may recognize this pattern within yourself, the constant wondering, the subtle doubt that creeps in even as you affirm your desires. Yet the universe responds not to what you hope for, but to what you know is already yours. The masters of manifestation understand a truth that eludes most. Certainty is not an outcome of success, but its prerequisite. When you hold the unwavering knowing that something is already accomplished, the universe has no choice but to reflect this reality back to you. Luther's transformation began when he witnessed an old merchant who carried himself with unshakable certainty. This merchant didn't hope for customers. He knew they would come. He didn't wish for prosperity. He embodied it in every gesture. His certainty was so complete that reality seemed to bend around his knowing. The energy of already having is not about pretending or forcing positive thoughts. It is about aligning your entire being with the frequency of completion. When you truly hold this vibration, doubt becomes as foreign as questioning whether the sun will rise. Agnes, a writer living in a small coastal town, discovered this truth through an unexpected path. For years, she worked on her novel, constantly wondering if it would ever find its audience. Each morning, she would sit at her desk, the weight of uncertainty heavy upon her shoulders. Then one day, while organizing her workspace, she began arranging everything as though her book had already touched millions. She placed a pen where she would sign copies. She cleared space on her shelf for the translated editions. She started answering questions in interviews that hadn't yet been scheduled. At first, it felt like play acting, but as she maintained this energy of completion, something shifted within her. The words flowed more freely. Her decisions became clearer. She stopped asking for validation and instead spoke with the quiet authority of someone whose success was already written. The universe responded to this shift in vibration. A literary agent appeared at a local cafe. A publisher expressed interest before the manuscript was complete. What seemed like coincidences were actually the natural consequences of holding the energy of already having. Your practice for embodying this truth is simple yet powerful. Each morning, for the next 30 days, you will sit in complete stillness for 11 minutes. During this time, you will hold in your consciousness the absolute knowing that what you desire is already accomplished. Feel the gratitude, joy, and certainty as though you are experiencing it now. Let every cell of your being resonate with the energy of completion. This is not visualization. It is vibrational alignment with what already exists in the eternal now. Through this practice, you will condition your energy field to hold the frequency of certainty, transforming hoping into having, seeking into being. Chapter 26. The 24-Hour Manifestation Experiment. In the depths of winter, Winifred sat in her garden watching frost patterns form on fallen leaves. Like many, she believed manifestation required months or years of patient waiting. Yet in that moment of stillness, she stumbled upon a truth that would transform her understanding of universal law. You have been taught that creation takes time, that desires must slowly materialize through gradual steps. This belief itself creates the very delay you experience. The universe knows no time. It responds to energy instantly, continuously, without hesitation. When you shift your energy completely, reality must shift to match it. Not eventually, not gradually, but immediately. This is not about forcing or willing things into existence. It is about aligning so purely with your desire that the universe has no choice but to reflect it back to you. Winifred accepted a challenge. For 24 hours she would hold unwavering alignment with a single desire. No doubts, no wondering, no checking for results. Just pure, sustained, energetic harmony. What unfolded in those hours defied her understanding of what was possible. Bertram, a merchant who had lost everything, heard of this challenge and decided he had nothing left to lose. For one full day, he abandoned his usual pattern of worry and instead maintained complete alignment with abundance. He didn't just visualize or affirm, he became abundance itself. By sunset, 3 unexpected opportunities had appeared. By sunrise, a long-lost debt was repaid. The events themselves were less significant than what they revealed. Reality responds not to time, but to alignment. Your 24-hour challenge begins at dawn. Choose one desire and align with it completely. Every thought, every breath, every action must vibrate in harmony with this single intention. When doubt arises, let it pass without engagement. When results appear, acknowledge them without attachment. Your task is not to make anything happen, but to maintain perfect alignment regardless of external circumstances. For these 24 hours you will. This is not a test of willpower, but an experiment in pure alignment. The universe will respond not to your effort, but to your state of being. At the end of 24 hours, you will understand what the masters have always known. Manifestation is not a process of time, but a shift in energy. When alignment is complete, reality has no choice but to conform to your vibration. Chapter 27. Embodying the Divine. In the mountains of Tibet, Sylvester had searched for enlightenment among ancient scrolls and sacred temples. He studied with masters, practiced esoteric techniques, and still felt empty. Until one morning, gazing at his reflection in a sacred pool, he understood the truth that had eluded him. You have been seeking what you already are. The power you search for does not exist in ancient texts or secret teachings. It flows through you with every breath, pulses in your veins with every heartbeat. You are not separate from the creative force of the universe. You are that force expressing itself in human form. When you truly grasp this truth, manifestation becomes as natural as breathing. You no longer need to attract or create, for you recognize that you are the attractor and the creator. The universe does not respond to your desires, it responds through you as you. Those who struggle with manifestation do so because they position themselves as separate from what they seek. They see themselves as small beings trying to influence a vast universe. But the Master knows there is no separation. The power that moves the stars flows through your consciousness. Constance worked in a small bookshop, always dreaming of something more. She read countless spiritual books, attended workshops, and practiced visualization, yet nothing changed. One day, while arranging books on ancient wisdom, she felt a shift in her awareness. She stopped seeking and simply acknowledged what she had always been, the conscious creator of her reality. From that moment, she moved differently through the world. She no longer asked the universe for signs or waited for permission. She understood that her every thought, word, and action was the universe expressing itself. Within weeks, opportunities emerged that perfectly aligned with her true nature, not because she attracted them, but because she finally allowed herself to be who she truly was. The shift from seeker to creator requires no complex rituals or elaborate practices. It demands only the courage to accept your true identity. You are not a fragment of consciousness trying to influence the whole. You are the whole expressing itself through this particular form. Practice. Sit in absolute stillness. Close your eyes and feel the life force flowing through you. With each breath, release the identity of the seeker. Feel yourself as the vast consciousness that creates worlds. Don't imagine this, recognize it as what you have always been. Let every thought arise from this knowing. I am not seeking the power to create. I am the power that creates. Move through your day from this recognition, allowing your divine nature to express itself naturally through all you do. This is not about affirming what you wish to be. It is about acknowledging what you already are. The moment you truly accept your identity as the conscious creator, the entire universe realigns to reflect this truth. Chapter 28, The Universal Paradox. In the heart of a bustling city, Archibald's mansion stood as a testament to his relentless pursuit of more. Each room overflowed with precious artifacts, yet his heart remained empty. Night after night he added to his collection, convinced that the next acquisition would finally bring fulfillment. But with each new possession, his need only grew stronger. You have been taught that abundance comes through accumulation, that security lies in having more. Yet this truth remains hidden from those who chase. The more you need, the more elusive your desires become. When you operate from need, you broadcast the frequency of lack into the universe, and lack must return to you. The universe responds not to your wants, but to your state of being. Those who need attract more need. Those who feel incomplete draw more incompletion. This is not punishment. It is the perfect reflection of universal law. True alignment dissolves need entirely. When you align with the infinite nature of your being, you recognize that everything you seek already exists within you. From this state, manifestation becomes effortless, not because you have learned to attract better, but because you no longer operate from the energy of wanting. Eleanor, a renowned artist, had spent decades building her reputation, constantly striving for recognition and acclaim. Her studio walls were covered with awards, yet each achievement left her hungry for more. One morning, gazing at her reflections in the window, she saw the truth. Her endless wanting had become a prison. In that moment, she released her grip on need. She painted not for recognition, but for the pure joy of creation. She stopped seeking validation and simply allowed her art to flow through her. A curious thing happened. The less she needed approval, the more it flowed to her. Galleries that had once ignored her now sought her work. Critics who had dismissed her now celebrated her genius. She had discovered the ultimate paradox. When you need nothing, everything comes to you. The path to true abundance lies not in accumulating more, but in needing less. As you align with your infinite nature, the energy of desperation dissolves, replaced by the calm knowing that all is well. From this state, manifestation becomes as natural as breathing. Practice. Sit in perfect stillness and bring to mind something you deeply desire. Feel the wanting, the yearning, the need for it. Now imagine releasing that need completely, like clouds dissolving in a vast sky. Don't resist the wanting, simply observe it dissolving naturally. Feel yourself becoming complete, whole, lacking nothing. Rest in this state of perfect completion. Notice how different this feels from the energy of needing. Throughout your day, whenever you feel the pull of wanting, return to this state of completion. Watch as what you once chased begins to flow to you effortlessly, drawn to your energy of wholeness rather than need. Chapter 29, True Power. In the mountains of Tibet, Rupert pushed against every obstacle, his muscles straining as he climbed each peak. Despite his strength and determination, the journey left him exhausted and bitter. Then one morning, as he watched an eagle soar effortlessly on thermal currents, understanding dawned. You have been conditioned to believe that achievement requires struggle, that success demands constant battle. Yet observe how nature moves. Water flows around obstacles, never forcing its way through. The wind doesn't fight to reach its destination, it simply follows the path of least resistance. When you align with the universal flow, life ceases to be a battle. Your actions become like breath, natural, effortless, guided by an intelligence greater than conscious thought. This is not passivity, but the highest form of power. Those who struggle move against the current of life, exhausting themselves while making little progress. Those who align move like the eagle, carried by forces unseen, achieving more while doing less. Marianne, a merchant in ancient Persia, had always approached business as warfare. Each negotiation was a battle, each sale a conquest. Her success came at the cost of her peace, until a wise woman showed her the art of effortless movement. Watch the reed in the river, the woman said. It bends with the current, yet remains unbroken. Be like the reed. Marianne learned to sense the natural flow of each interaction. Instead of pushing for sales, she allowed opportunities to unfold. Rather than forcing negotiations, she moved with the natural rhythm of exchange. Her business flourished not through conquest, but through harmony. Practice the river meditation. Sit in stillness and envision yourself as a leaf on a river. Notice how the leaf doesn't fight the current, it simply flows. For the next 7 breaths, release any point of resistance in your life. With each exhale, surrender another area where you've been pushing against the flow. Feel how your energy shifts from effort to ease. This ancient practice, when performed daily, attunes you to the natural current of life. Let your mind's eye follow that leaf as it navigates around rocks, through rapids, and into peaceful pools. Observe how it neither rushes ahead nor lags behind. It moves at precisely the perfect pace the universe has ordained. With each breath, sink deeper into this state of allowance. Release the tension in your shoulders, your jaw, your hands. These are the places where resistance often hides. As you continue this meditation, notice how your thoughts begin to mirror the river's flow, smooth, unforced, natural. This is the way of the universe itself, the ancient path of least resistance that sages have walked for countless generations. When practiced with devotion, this simple yet profound exercise will transform your relationship with the currents of life, teaching you to move in harmony with the divine flow rather than against it. Chapter 30. The Final Revelation. In the hidden valleys of ancient China, Phineas sought the secrets of alignment through endless practices and rituals. Each morning, he would perform his techniques with dedication, yet something was missing. The truth eluded him until he met a mysterious gardener who never seemed to practice anything, yet manifested everything. You have mastered the techniques of alignment, learned the ancient wisdom, and practiced the sacred rituals. Yet now comes the ultimate transformation, when practice dissolves into being. Just as you no longer think about walking or breathing, alignment becomes your natural state. The universe does not align itself through effort. The stars do not practice their orbits. The flowers do not rehearse their blooming. They simply are. This is the state of mastery you are now ready to embrace. Those who still need techniques remain in the realm of doing. Those who have transcended into being become living embodiments of universal flow. Every breath, every step, every moment becomes an expression of perfect alignment. Cecilia, a merchant's daughter in medieval Venice, spent years studying with masters and practicing ancient arts of manifestation. Her shelves were filled with journals documenting her daily alignment practices. Yet true mastery arrived the day she closed her last journal and simply lived. She no longer needed to check if she was aligned. She had become alignment itself. Her very presence shifted the energy of rooms. Opportunities didn't need to be attracted. They emerged naturally from her state of being. She had transcended the doing of alignment into the being of flow. Integration practice. The dissolving. Sit in pure awareness and bring to mind all the techniques you've learned. Now, one by one, let them dissolve into your being. Feel each practice melting into your natural state, like snow returning to water. This is not about forgetting what you've learned, but allowing it to become who you are. Continue until you no longer sense any separation between yourself and the flow of life. In this space, alignment is not something you do, it is what you are. Let this integration unfold naturally over the next 7 days. Allow each practice to settle into your being like seeds planted in fertile soil. Do not force or rush the process. True integration follows its own divine timing. You will know it is complete when alignment becomes as natural as breath, as effortless as being. When you reach this state, you'll find that you no longer need to think about aligning with universal flow. You simply are the flow itself, moving in perfect harmony with life's eternal dance. If you enjoyed this audiobook, I created a free ebook version for you. You can download it using the link in the pinned comment. Conclusion. Through countless ages, mystics and sages have pointed to a singular truth that you now hold in your hands. Alignment is not a practice to master, but a remembrance of what you have always been. As you turn these final chapters, understand that you are not reaching an end, but awakening to an eternal beginning. You have walked through the gateway of ancient wisdom, uncovered the mechanics of universal law, and witnessed the power of aligned consciousness. Yet all of these teachings serve one purpose: to remind you of your true nature. You are not separate from the force that moves worlds. You are that force expressing itself through human form. In every breath, in every heartbeat, in every moment of existence, you choose. Will you resist the current of life, or will you become the current itself? Will you struggle against reality, or will you recognize that you are reality's creator? The universe does not bend to your will. It responds to your state of being. This knowledge has always lived within you, dormant but never absent. Like a forgotten language of your soul, it has waited patiently for recognition. Now, as you embrace this remembrance, watch as life transforms around you, not through effort or force, but through the natural expression of who you truly are. You no longer need techniques or practices to align. You are alignment itself. You no longer need to attract abundance. You are in motion. You no longer need to seek power. You are power awakened. Let these words settle into the depths of your being. You are not discovering something new. You are remembering what has always been true. Every master before you walked this same path of remembrance. Every sage throughout history pointed to this same eternal truth. The journey of alignment never ends, for it is the journey of existence itself. Each day brings new depths to explore, new heights to reach, new expressions of the infinite to embody. You are not finishing a book. You are beginning a life where magic becomes normal, where miracles become natural, where the extraordinary becomes your daily experience. Remember, You are not becoming powerful. You are power itself, awakening to its true nature. If you enjoyed this exclusive audiobook, I handpicked this next book which will change your life.